All right, are we going to get Aaron Rodgers retirement this week, John?
What was your first thought when you saw the story? Bullshit, or like, whoa, is there something here?
My first thought was there's something here. Now, I don't think he's going to retire and never play football again, but yeah, my first thought was if you don't want to play and the Packers don't seem to be all that interested in trading you, this is the next move.
Well,
how serious are you?
This move has been done before by David Dunn, his agent that represented Carson Palmer. And when Carson Palmer played this card, because when you do play this card, you can play, and you've always said, if you want to get paid, it's been a theme on the podcast, you have to hold out. Khalil Mack, Aaron Donald did it, Jamal Adams did it.
Right.
Yeah. You can't show up good faith and like really think you're going to get that extra $20 million. You hold out and you're an elite player, you hold their feet to the fire. Well, Rodgers is like, he's at the point, it's not about the money. We saw the report. He's turned down the cash. They would have given him a boatload more money. He didn't want it. So it's not about the money. It's about the principle. Now he wants another team. Same thing with Carson Palmer, if you remember. He had made a shitload of money. He'd been the number 1 overall pick. He did not want to play for the Bengals anymore. Now, those situations do not parallel each other at all. Bengals, joke. I guess they had some talent, but he thought, I remember talking to him, they kept making him promises about free agency. Their owner was too cheap. He's just like, we thought we were always going to sign guys in free agency. He refused to do it. So I didn't trust anything they were saying. He not only threatened to retire, he kind of did. He walked away. He's like, I'm never playing for you again. He never played another snap for the Bengals. Ever. Again. So, like, if Rodgers does play this card, if you just do parallel it to Carson Palmer and the David Dunn, that move, I don't think you can discount, like, there is a chance he's played his last snap for the Green Bay Packers. Because like Carson, money's no issue. He has unlimited amount of cash, right? And Carson was a little younger, so it's like he had more time on his side. Aaron being 37, 38, Brady's somewhat of an outlier, but you could say at minimum 3 more years. But this year's one of them. Like, I don't think he wants to sit out this year. But if he truly, like, not only am I not coming to training camp, I'm not playing for you. Now, you hold my rights. You can trade me like the Bengals did. Because remember, I remember hearing Carson talk about this, and Mike Brown was adamant, like, we will never trade Carson Palmer. So that's why he gave up the fuck you. The Green Bay Packers haven't really played that card. I just think they're like, we just want him to come back. Like, we want to win. Like, we'll figure it out next year if we have to get rid of him. Like, we get Jordan Love. We understand the variables here, but we want you to play for our team. And I think, in fairness, like, I would imagine the fans at this point are like, Aaron, just fucking play this year out and then let them get rid of you.
Right.
But you have a chance to win a Super. Carson didn't have a chance to win a Super Bowl. Aaron does. Right? That's where this situation, I do think he's lost. Like, played golf yesterday. You just meet casual people that talk football. I don't think he has a lot of people like, God, I feel for Aaron Rodgers.
No.
He's really getting fucked here.
Not a soul. Because no one actually even knows what he's mad about.
No.
And if he's mad about the fact they drafted Jordan Love, no football fan really feels much sympathy for that. Because everybody's dealt with that, right? Joe Montana dealt with it. Tom Brady dealt with it. I mean, they didn't draft Steve, but they signed Steve.
Let's say they had made a trade, and for whatever reason, they were a sweet team, but they had like the number 2 overall pick. So instead of Jordan Love being the 27th overall pick, they had drafted a quarterback number 2 overall. I think it would be way crazy. It's like, Aaron, they drafted this guy at the end of the first round. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah,
I don't think most people even view Jordan Love as anything right now.
No.
A fan.
No. They don't know what to think of him.
Yeah.
They don't. And I think that what's unique about the situation is no one's rooting for either side. Like, most people aren't like, oh, Gutekunst, man, like, that guy's done. He's earned better than this. Nobody cares. That's what's so weird about this. If you're a fan of any other team, you're hoping for this to continue like this because it weakens one of the best teams, particularly if you're a Niner fan or an NFC fan, because it takes an MVP out of the league.
The Minnesota Vikings. The chance to win the division.
Now, I agree. This thing's not about the money. I do agree with that. If they had offered him, you know what, we'll wipe out the contract that you're currently owed. We'll give you the 2 for $90 that Florio says a team that might want Aaron thinks is what it would take to sign him after you acquire him. Would he sign that deal with the Packers?
No.
Because part of this with the Packers, right, is like, yeah, I'm not giving you my rights for 5 years. If the Packers put 2 for $90 in front of him right now, if he'd walk away from that, then he absolutely would just retire and sit out the year or sit out half the year or whatever.
Do you think he would sign if they ripped up his contract? We'll just give you 2 guaranteed years, $90 million, all guaranteed, $45 a year.
I don't think he would sign, and the reason I don't think he would sign is because he knows he could get that contract from anybody else. And at the end of the day, are we going to go 4 weeks into the season? The Packers then have to make a decision.
That's what Palmer did. Remember, he just didn't show up and ended up trading him.
And the decision is, are we going to keep him in retirement out of spite, or are we going to go get a first-round pick for Aaron Rodgers?
To me, the craziest part, though, and I have to go back and look at like the details. I would imagine Carson was making a lot of money the year that he sat out, or like that half year. Aaron's scheduled to make, and I get money's all relative. So if Carson was making 18 back then, like that was a boatload of money. $37 million. Do the math. 17 weeks. 17 times 2 is 34. He's making more than $2 million per game. Every game, Ravel loves doing stuff like that. Like, he got paid so-and-so million per win.
He got $300,000 for those 3 drives in the first half.
He is getting $2 million per game. That's pretty nuts. That's a lot of money, guy.
Yeah.
That's where it's hard for me to be like, is he really going to, like, draw this hard line?
Well, once this report comes out, it's like...
He can't show up this week.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. He's not. There's no way he is.
You wouldn't think. Someone forwarded me a picture. He was on the golf. I think Larry Fitzgerald, like 3 other guys. Like someone was like, he doesn't look too stressed out about this. It looked like he was in the mountains somewhere playing golf.
Here's the other thing that maybe was in Montana. The other element that we haven't talked about with this Rodgers story is, the Packers could open camp and Jordan Love looks good. Like maybe that changes. Is something going to happen that changes the Packers' thinking?
Well, he just got the whole offseason with him, right? They have just at least seen him now throw some passes.
I just, maybe their thinking changes. If after 2 weeks they're like, okay, if this guy's really going to act like this, why wait until week 5? If we can just get rid of this distraction, maybe trade him for a player or a pick, or picks players, and move on. They did draft Jordan Love at the end of the day. They did draft him.
How many number ones do you think you would have to get for at least the fans to be like, okay, at least he wasn't going to show up? 3?
For the fans to feel that way, I think it starts at 3.
And even that would be like, well, he is older, right? I think it would be a lot different if he was 30.
Yeah, if the Packers want to play that game and worry about what their fans are going to think, then you almost have to make them not show for a week or 2, right?
I mean, would you trade him 3 and Jerry Jeudy, and then you got Jerry Jeudy, Devontae, Jordan Love, and you just kind of roll out the season, see what happens?
Wait, say that again? 3 ones and Jerry Jeudy?
Yeah.
Sure. I mean,
if you're Denver, that's a lot, right? I mean, you just drafted this guy 14th.
It puts Denver back on my list of it takes them off my list of uninteresting teams, tell you that.
The problem, if you're Rodgers, like, they're going to want something that you're going to want to play with, right?
You're right. Right.
Like it's Noah Fant, Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah, does Rodgers tell them don't trade Jerry Jeudy?
Add another one. You could argue just give him 4 ones, get Aaron Rodgers figured out.
That's what the Rams would do.
Yeah. I would give up extra ones before I gave up players if I were them.
Does this change what you think? Like, is he going to put on Packers shorts? Is he going to ride a bike to Packers camp again?
I would say it's 50-50. Because once this report comes out, and I don't think it's a random report, because did you see where they got it from is the gambling people, and they know all. They started taking the over-unders off the book because they hear not only is he clearly, like you said, he wasn't going to show up, but now it's like, I'm not showing up because I'm retired. But is Denver the only, like, does his list change? Are they the only team that he's cool with? Wouldn't the other teams be interested? Like, if you're the New York Giants, wouldn't you offer like 4 ones,
That's where it gets weird, right?
So you hate
is it because you hate the Packers, or is it because you want to be in these 3 specific places? Right.
I think a lot of teams are kind of tied to young quarterbacks. It's his options aren't as plentiful as you'd think.
We talk about this all the time. Like everyone's trying to find their superstar quarterback, and yet there's only a handful of teams that in this moment would make a change. Now, maybe one thing that's working for him is what happened with Brady, right? You look back at the Niners and go, well, I understood it at the time, but signing Tom Brady at the time would have been the move, right?
To me, if I'm General Patton, I just say here's 4 ones. If you're going to trade him, probably doesn't get any better
look, if you're in the
ones.
Super Bowl once in the next 3 years, is that worth it?
Yeah. And I think if you're the Packers, you just hope, well, if he gets hurt 1 year, that pick could go fast to like a top 10 pick, right? We just saw with the Texans. They had Deshaun Watson. The pick ended up, 3rd?
Yeah.
And actually, he played last year. And
you know,
was still third.
You know who'd want to do that trade? Vic Fangio in a heartbeat. Vic Fangio wants to do that trade.
4-1. You want a 2-2? Like what else? You want 2-2? We'll call the Rams, see if we can get 2-2 and include him.
Rams might get in on that deal, man. Rams might want a 3-team deal for something.
Well, I think everyone's lucky that that trade already happened because the Rams would be the number one destination, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
They would offer like 17 ones and 4 twos.
God,
Sean McVay hates the draft.
Hates. Hey, Peter, let me ask you, man.